selling U.S. war bonds is just as important, just as life-saving as what you did on Guadalcanal. Now pack your seat bag, you're going home.
Wow, what?
Home? How many U.S. war bonds are you going to sell stomping around the Solomons with us?
God, he doesn't even feel like a hero,
Oh.
so...
Get it done, Sergeant.
God, it's like the business and PR side of war, isn't it? And now he's going to feel even more like a fraud. He doesn't feel like a hero here, so he's not going to feel like a hero at home. Playing up his achievements. I feel like kind of the war has become closer to home for her, and maybe she'll rethink about how it'll feel for him to go away and potentially to read his name in the paper. Seems like a bit of a dream family for him, doesn't it? She's the kind of prized child and he's the last and least.
Baba, he always wanted a son like you.
Ah, this is...
I'm going to pray that you come back to us.
It's a good thing to pray for.
I feel like this is like an idyllic moment and it's just going to be tragedy. There's just heartbreak. Even if it is kind of slightly tragic and heartbreaking, I'm glad that he's got this opportunity to have something good before moving on.
Hey, what are you doing? You shot some poor farmer's cow!
Yeah.
It was gonna be steak anyway. Not if it's a dairy cow, you idiot! Good shot, go.
Oof. Hot and dry. Rather than warm and wet. Get rid of that knife. No, 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 no. Blister.
Oh, sweet Jesus, that feels good.
You have to go away, Bon. Please don't come here anymore. I told Mama and Baba already that you got your orders and you left. You couldn't say goodbye.
You lied?
I'm fairly crazy about you, Robert. I think you know that.
I thought so, yeah.
But I don't want to have a baby with you.
Are you pregnant?
No, no.
You're not.
Bob, you and I aren't going to have a family. And we're not going to get married. And you were never coming back to Melbourne.
I feel like they should have thought ahead from the start.
You're dumping me because you think I'm gonna get killed?
Ouch.
Bob,
It's hurtful, but it's
she's
practical.
lost so much already, Bob. She's praying for you to come back to us.
She can save her breath.
Wow, he's really hurt. Like, I suppose, so in my head, it's like, partly, you know, he might not come back because he might die. Also, he might not come back because he'll eventually go home and he can just leave his Australian girlfriend behind. But in his head, it's, you know, he's not going to die. And he's in love and he thinks that he will come back, so it does seem cruel. But obviously, I don't know. I feel bad for everyone in this situation.
Leckie, Leckie.
Drunk as a skunk?
1 minute, that's all I need, come on.
Someone's got chlamydia. Oh dear. Please. Oh dear.
Leckie, what are you doing?
Oh dear.
Manning this fucking post, Lieutenant.
Are you out of
I'm
your
the fucking guy on guard,
You
dude.
pull a fucking sidearm
asshole.
on us?
Why did I grab a pen and I went for a quick piss? Lucky was just covering.
Fucking prick!
Shit!
Fuck you! I said stand at attention! I said fuck you!
Oh God. Well, what happened now?
Well, in baseball, you hit a ball and you run to a base.
I don't know anything
The
about
next
baseball.
Base if you can. You keep going to the next base, and if you get to enough bases, you score a run.
I guess it's kind of like rounders.
Sounds like rounders. We play that in school.
We played that in
Like
school.
someone's hunting.
God, she's so beautiful. He's not bad too. I'd be in that sandwich. It's all I did tragedy and heartbreak, and it's not worth it.
Lieutenant Lebec has got platoon now, and I want him to inherit a solid outfit, so I volunteered you for reassignment to the battalion intelligence section.
You're booting us?
Well, not you,
Just Leckie.
Leckie.
I feel like being reassigned is probably the best could have got out of that situation, but still crap. He's not only going to be away from his girlfriend, he's going to be away from his mates. He's nervous. Oh, what cuties.
How about if an engine catches fire?
That was pretty
out in the
wholesome.
Pacific? I've been sending my poker winnings home to her.
It's 700, that's mine. That's the good thing about leaving. I won't lose any more money to you. This year, coming with me.
Oh.
I think that's you.
So what's going to be the rest of his story? How does that go? I bet they filmed this on the same day. Just flip the signs. It was condoms. America. Is that the Golden Gate Bridge? Home. Well, that was enjoyable. I was surprised at how little action there were. Well, not that kind of action. And I was surprised at kind of how romantic and personal the episode was. You know, I guess they're kind of in this bubble away from the war, and well, until it gets burst by, you know, reassignments and news that people had died and things like that. It was really enjoyable to see them in a different location, you know, entirely different location from what I imagine we'll see going forward, rather than the jungles of Guadalcanal and the ocean. It was nice to see kind of the towns and that countryside and the city of Melbourne. Just kind of civilians living their lives and coming up against the American soldiers. Oh, everything sounds wrong. I think it does feel like this was the R&R before the storm, you know. The bubble's been burst now they've got to go back to the heavy shit, I imagine. And I'm really intrigued to see, because the end of this episode is kind of like a crossroads in that Basilone is going to do something new, and so will Leckie be, having been reassigned to intelligence, I think he said, which is intriguing, but obviously quite hard for him to be taken away from his friends, and you know, that on top of being heartbroken. And I'd really like to see where Eugene is. I really want to see how he gets involved and, you know, where he'll be placed and what he'll have to deal with and how he'll deal with it. As I said last episode, he's longing for, you know, to prove himself and to help his country. But it'll be interesting to see how he'll react when he goes from this kind of sweet southern family home to, you know, the horror that awaits him. The moment with Sid and I think she was called Gwen, it was really sweet. It was a kind of really adorable and shows, I think it really highlights how young he is and how he's not really had experience in life, and yet, you know, life could be taken away from him at any moment. He's being such a man, and yet he is still just really a boy, really. I understand why Leckie was so upset and felt rejected, because he was rejected, but I also appreciate that I feel like they gave Stella like genuine reason to reject him that was understandable. You know, it's not a kind of, you know, horrible bitch taking what she wants and then letting him go and taking away his hope. Because for me, I think what she did was probably I don't know, it's very difficult. I just understand her motivations, and I think that was well done, and I think that her family seemed lovely. But I think the fact that Vera was introduced in the first episode makes me feel like she'll come up later somehow. You know, what did he expect to happen there? Is he going to throw Vera aside for Stella? I don't know. I am worried for Basilone. You know, he's already finding it quite difficult to fit into this mould of being, you know, of his position in the Marines and being in receipt of these honours, and kind of seeing that as a reflection of himself, because he doesn't feel like a hero. He clearly just wants to be there fighting. He doesn't want to go home and act as this kind of PR puppet, but that kind of seems like what he might have to do. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, this is interesting. I think it's kind of a departure from what you'd usually expect from, you know, like a war show or a war film, which I imagine some people don't like, but I enjoyed it, and I'm excited to see the progression from this episode to next episode. I feel like seeing the soldiers, you know, amongst civilians and in normal society is almost as interesting as seeing them in the battlefield and dealing with what they have to face there. So I enjoyed that kind of little holiday, and now it's back to business, I think. I hope you enjoyed that reaction. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and hopefully you'll join me next time.